All right. So for me, I can speak. That's about it. Um, Going through stuff, in order for me to not get overwhelmed, I need to have some goddamn privacy. I need some quiet. This is an important issue here, though. This is about the homeless and the health issues that we face. A lot of you guys, you notice the homeless are everywhere. What a lot of you guys don't know is that homelessness, just in the last year in the United States, has increased by 35%. Um, we're talking about a pretty large number there, pretty large jump or increase in homelessness. See, we're getting rid of $120,000 jobs and replacing them with minimum wage McDonald's jobs. Fast food jobs. There's some of you who are going to be whining and complaining that I'm talking about corporations and advertising, free advertising for Mickey D's. The fact is, the homeless do not have access to the things that you do. You want to pretend that they do. You don't want to pretend that they have access to that laundromat. They don't have the money for that laundromat, do they? And when they go in there, people say, "You stink, get the fuck out of here." I know people who live in laundry rooms on cold nights. But the fact is, you get shoved into nasty facilities like the Boulder Shelter. And it is a nasty facility. Your mattress has been peed on by drunk after drunk after drunk, and not just drunks. It's been puked on. It's had people wiping their boogers on it. And they don't clean that shit very often. And you're stuck in this sardine. When you get sick, it gestates among the homeless population. And then the homeless, well, they've got nowhere to go, so they're stuck in public. You want them all to just disappear, don't you? You want them all to just die off. Well, the fact is, they are dying off. Homeless die off a lot quicker than the rest of y'all. They die off at a very young age. On average, yeah, very much so. Homelessness itself will kill you. You're complaining about how your kid got the cold from going to school, right? Well, your kid gets to bathe, doesn't your kid get to bathe? Yeah? No? Of course they fucking do. And they can do so every day. They get their clothes washed. They can have their clothes, a different set of clothes every day. No, I'm not talking about literally buying a new set of clothes every day. I'm talking about the fact that you can wash them. You don't have to carry around a whole dresser full of clothes in your fucking backpack. In addition to your blanket, so you don't fucking freeze to death. By the way, that blanket is illegal in Boulder, Colorado, and in many other places across the United States. Right now, I'm luckier than a homeless person. I'm indoors. I'm not freezing to death. But it's not just freezing to death you have to worry about. You have to worry about the fact that you are going to catch every single cold that's out there. A homeless person goes into Starbucks and uses the bathroom after your nasty, filthy fucking kid. Your kid's picking his nose, he's picking his butt, and he's going around touching everything. That's getting everybody sick. That gets that homeless person sick, and that homeless person takes it to the homeless shelter or the warming centers, which, by the way, the warming centers in Boulder, Colorado were closed down. BOHO no longer exists. That's Boulder Outreach for the Homeless Overflow. There used to be 6 churches that would take the homeless in on cold nights. They don't do that anymore. They're saying that they're going to allow the police to take over all that. Fuck the police. These people victimize us more than anyone. There are 5 hate crimes against the homeless for all other hate crimes combined. And that's not including police interactions. Now, these homeless people, they get sick. They may not have the ability to wash their hands. You want to go use the bathroom, you have to buy something. Well, what if you don't have the money to buy something? You end up in the jails, don't you? Because you use the bathroom outside. A college kid gets busted urinating in public, they get a urinating in public ticket. A homeless person gets busted urinating in public, they get a public exposure ticket. What's the difference between these two tickets? One of them is for rich, spoiled bitches, college kids. And you want to talk about how terrible it is that these college kids acquire all this massive amounts of money that they have to pay back and may not be able to pay back in their lifetime. At least they have the homeless person is now treated like they're a child molester or a rapist, somebody who exposed themselves at a school type of thing. No, they had to pee. And unlike that college student who was just too lazy to go to the bathroom, this homeless person doesn't have the chance or opportunity. And no, they're not going to wash their hands after going to the bathroom. They're not going to wash their hands after peeing on your wall. Do you know why? And it doesn't matter if it's your wall or a wall in an alley or any other wall that's outside. They're not able to wash their hands. After going to the church, you might get to wash your hands while you're at church. But have you ever gone to a church for a homeless feed? You got 30 people in line for the bathroom. All of those people touch the door handle on the way in. And a good majority of them are probably going to have to touch that door handle on the way out. Even if they just wash their hands, they just touch that. And then they go around town, your business or the other businesses around. What is it with all these people sending me this McDonald's and Taco Bell shit? Holy fuck. So these homeless people, they end up getting sick a lot, a whole lot, and they spread it to you guys. You gave it to them to begin with, now they're giving it to you. Are they terrible people for this? No, they're not. They're just homeless people. They're human beings, same as the rest of us. Then we want to incarcerate them because you don't want to see homeless people because they're all lazy. Meanwhile, that homeless person has a job trying to get up and out. When they get sick, they don't get to repair from that. They don't get to recover. They don't get to follow the doctor's instructions. You go to the Boulder shelter, you got to be out by, what is it, 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock in the morning. You need to rest for a couple of days to recover from that. But no, you don't get to. You're getting thrown right back out into the cold. And if you fucking die from it, well, taxpayers will pay for that, won't they? Taxpayers will pay to incarcerate you repeatedly for being homeless. And it costs more to incarcerate you for a month than it does to help you get into housing, a safe place where you can recover. But it's a lot easier just to let you be victimized by the police, isn't it? No, it's not. Not if you have to work 3 times as hard to pay for housing in jail for something that is not illegal for you in a house to do, but it's illegal for them. And they're gonna fucking die. You guys wanna complain about all these old folks who are at risk of the coronavirus. Well, the coronavirus isn't the only virus out there. The common cold kills people. The flu kills 74,000 people a year. The flu. Meanwhile, these homeless people, they spread it. You get all these people into this sardine can with one infected sardine, and then you've got all the sardines infected, and then in the morning they got to scatter to the four winds, and they're spreading it to everywhere, just like the rest of y'all. And it costs a lot of money to ignore that health hazard, to prevent those people from healing up, to prevent those people from getting the rest that they need, to harass those people for trying to get the rest they need. You can't use that blanket. It's illegal after 10:30. To prevent them from having the money to get unhomeless. That's what I've been dealing with. That's what a lot of these people have been dealing with. They're trying. It's not that they're not working. It's that they're victimized by these police officers who you make repeated excuses for while they murder my loved ones. Murder them. Yes, it is murder. If you are enforcing immoral laws that are killing people, literally killing people, then you are a murderer. This is an accidental death. This is you choosing to have zero morality when it comes to the life of someone who you see as lower on the social ladder. So then you've got the issue of when they die, you got to pay for their burial. Lovely, right? They're not human enough to have a decent life. Most of these people grew up in the system, all right? You know what that means? That means that they were given a shit ton of drugs starting at a very young age because it makes rich people more money. These rich people are profiting off of drugging the fuck out of children like they did to me and many other children in the system. And that destroys our immune systems. It destroys our ability to fight off infections. And it destroys our ability to think and to function. And that's your goddamn solution for everything. Let's fucking drug them all. Let's drug them all. They're all a bunch of drug addicts. Motherfucker, you're talking about putting drugs in them and calling them an addict in the same fucking sentence. Are you out of your fucking mind? Meanwhile, you want to pretend that they're all a bunch of child molesters and rapists, and who's the most likely person to do those things? Their dad. Just like Natalie Bollinger's dad, Ted Bollinger, the rapist and child molester. Number one, nationwide matter. We need to focus on women's issues. This isn't a women's issue. Rape is not a women's issue. This is a human issue. And yes, women and boys who are homeless on the streets are raped at a much higher rate than the rest of y'all. You go to a college boy's house, he's so nice. He just seems so nice. He's like, oh, young lady, I just want you to be safe for the night. How about I give you a place to stay for the night? I got blankets. I got, you know, cold beer for you. You know, come home with me. I'll fucking take care of you. And you get there and what happens? And there's no guarantee he's going to use a condom. There's no guarantee. You don't get to take a blood test when somebody is raping you. You don't get to guarantee that they don't have chlamydia or hepatitis C or AIDS. And they don't fucking care. They're going to do it to you regardless. The Boulder police aren't going to do anything about it. It's a homeless person's word versus a college student's word. The only time they're going to listen to the woman is if it's another college student. If that woman is a college student, there is a tiny fraction of a chance that those police are actually going to listen. But at least they might listen because she's in college. her parents might care. There might be a big fiasco on the news where she is lying about being raped because she wants attention. She's narcissistic. She just wants attention. And that's not the case. And then she gets pregnant. There's a whole bunch more issues you got to deal with right there. Here she is. She's scared shitless. She's going to have a baby. She probably doesn't know the name of the man who raped her. She might not even remember where he lives. I mean, there are apartment complexes where if you've only been to that apartment once, how are you supposed to remember it from any other apartment in that apartment complex? And there's no guarantee that the man that you went home with even gave you his real name. But you only went with him because you didn't want to fucking freeze to death. And you didn't want to get a fucking $400 camping ticket and 60 hours of community service for using a fucking blanket. Now you're carrying around a baby and you're going to all of these places to try to stay warm, like the homeless shelter, getting the flu. You got a high risk of miscarrying as a result of this. Do you care? No, this isn't a fucking baby to you. These homeless people don't deserve to have kids. That kid's better off dead in most of your minds. That's fucking gross. But that's the mentality of Americans. That's the American mentality. Pretend to care. Pretend to care. Pretend to care. But that depends on who it happens to. If it happens to a rich, pretty college girl, oh yes, it's the end of the world. But if it happens to a homeless woman, do you really give a shit? Are you really going to do a fucking goddamn thing about it? I got to see a whole bunch of shit from Y2K to the Mayan calendar, the Zika virus, coronavirus. You guys want to talk about old people in houses? There are old people on the streets. There are 80-year-old homeless people. There are people with diminished immune systems. Now, that woman who got raped, maybe she got an STD. Maybe it is a transferable disease that she got. And where is her child most likely to go when it's born? If it's born alive at all? Into the fucking system. To be drugged and have their immune system destroyed. To be raped by the very people that you guys don't want to put the checks and balances in for. With the literally thousands of officers who raped people last year, and nobody cared. No officer would take the report. Just the few of them that these people have enough support to force someone to take a look at. You're looking at a high chance that it's going to get dropped, even if it's on video. That last officer in Arapahoe County to rape somebody, train, he got off. He got off. He didn't go to prison for raping that person. He lost his job. Is that good enough, though? If you're going to go to prison for raping somebody, that officer should go to prison for raping someone, especially when that officer did it to somebody on camera. Someone considered mentally ill, so does that make it okay? If she's considered mentally ill, does that make it more okay to rape her? And it's not just the police, it happens in these medical facilities. If you're a rapist, wouldn't it be opportune for you to work somewhere where, first of all, you have access to the victims of your choice? If you're a fucking pedophile and you get to work in a juvenile facility, that is the choice position for you, isn't it? And then you add the fact that you're in a position now where you can discredit anything that they say. We need to have body cameras with sound in those places. Cops are fucking disgusting. They do more to perpetuate rape than the rapists themselves. And that isn't the only health hazard. It's not. And it's not the only public safety hazard. After a homeless person has been beaten on and raped enough, they are going to fucking snap. And unlike me, many of these people may do what it is that Cash did. That's one of Natalie Bollinger's ex-boyfriends. Just go out and try to find people at random to fucking stab. While drugged out of his fucking mind. You guys want to fucking pretend like all homeless people are addicts. Natalie was never homeless, but she's an addict. How about Alicia Bollinger? Never homeless, but she's an addict. Also, guys, aren't they? Aren't they? I've seen women do more to perpetuate this rape culture than men by a long shot. By repeatedly dating these men, knowing that they have done these things to others, and you still date him because he's good looking, or you let him go because you don't want to deal with it. And that allows him to do it to someone else, and someone else, and someone else, and someone else. When he beat you the first time, you said, oh, when a guy beats me, I'm fucking done with him. 2 weeks later, you're back with that son of a bitch, aren't you? How is that a homeless issue? Because when you're feeling extra hateful, you're not going to take it out on him. You're scared shitless of him. You're going to go out and you're going to take it out on a homeless person. Shit rolls downhill, don't it? Homeless people, according to your society, homeless people are to blame for all of it. Now, sure, the signs point the other direction. I mean, if you follow the numbers, obviously it's the rich people who are responsible for this, but not just the rich people, but also you punk ass little bitches who don't go after the people who are creating this problem. You become the problem by being complacent and by blaming the wrong people. Sure, that dude raped you, but you love him. So you go take it out on somebody that you think nobody loves. They get an infection. This homeless person that you thought, if I shove him around or push him around or her around, it's not going to be any big major thing. The worst they got was a scuff on the side of their face from road rash, from hitting their face on the pavement or the palm of their hand. But you don't get to see the infection that they got a week later when they've gone to the hospital and they have to walk through the weather to that hospital. And you're like, oh, well, that's going to improve their immune system. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It pumps that infection through their body and it starts to affect the rhythm of their heart. And that's something they have to deal with for the rest of their life, which is going to be significantly shorter because now they have a heart issue because of that infection, because you thought you could just get away with doing that. Morally, it's fine. It doesn't register to you that you just killed somebody just by pushing them over. Many hospitals will kick you out. They say, oh, well, it's not life threatening. And then they die. Obviously, it was fucking life threatening. My teeth, I got them yanked out because the infections in my head were life threatening. You guys want to talk about how terrible socialism is, and then you want to point at Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany wasn't. Are both human beings. We are both people. And over the years, although there were many people when the Constitution was first written up that believed that we are all people, regardless of color, regardless of race, regardless of religion, and regardless of gender, that we're all still people. They made a lot of reparations. They made a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, they gave up a lot of that in order to just get the Constitution written, in order to the rich. Who benefits in the cases of these drug companies? The rich. The homeless exist to be victimized. They go through all of that in their youth, having fucked up parents, getting raped in the system, getting drugged in the system, having their immune system destroyed, not learning how to drive, not learning how to socialize. And then they get dropped off at 18 without so much as an ID or a blanket. And what happens? They are victimized immediately. Immediately. It's called aging out. And those people with these diminished immune systems, who are the most victimized people in America, are victimized until they fucking die. And you want to say, well, that happens to everybody. No, it fucking doesn't. If you're a rich girl going to see you and you get raped, you might even get paid $1 million for getting raped. But if you're a homeless woman, you didn't get raped just once. You may have been raped literally hundreds of times in your lifetime. And there is no justice for you. Chose it. You chose to be homeless. You chose this. You chose that. And they make every single excuse they can why you deserve the terrible things that happen to you. But when it happens to them just once, they want justice. That's not justice. That's special rights. You want special rights because you are more important than a homeless person. It's not rape if it happens to a homeless person. It's only rape if it happens to you. It's not theft if it happens to a homeless person. It's only theft if it happens to you. Meanwhile, what happens to the homeless affects all of us because of the Constitution, the words at the very top, we the people. The laws here in the United States are supposed to apply to everyone, which means if they can do it to a homeless person, they can do it to you. And people are just now starting to realize that. If they can do it to a black person, they can do it to you. If they can do it to a woman, they can do it to you. If they can do it to a child, they can do it to you. By the way, have fun with the coronavirus. Have fun spreading that shit. Have fun with your quarantine in your house with your blanket, getting to sit down and watch Netflix. Sure, you're spending some time on the toilet, but at least you have a toilet to spend time on.